Hey, I'm Pete Yorn. I want to say hi to OnStageWeb.com and TVN. Hello. I wake, still shaking from a dream. PY, or I call it the Black Album, because in a reference to Frank Black. I don't know, I wouldn't say mature, but it's, if anything, it's like a throwback to kind of how I was working even before Music for the Morning After. Like when I first started to learn how to record, I didn't really know any tricks, so it was just simple. It was bass, guitar, drums, it was just very simple. And the concept going into make the record was kind of bring it back to that, you know, just very simple. Don't add too much and don't be too fussy about it. So, when you work with someone, you know, how did Frank influence my work on PY? You know, I think when you surround yourself with people that you respect, and I was a huge fan of the Pixies, and you know, you have these good players around you, then you're going to kind of up your game a little bit. So I remember going in, you know, to work with them and thinking, all right, I better bring my, you know, my best stuff, and I better be in a mindset to really do good work. So I think he helped bring that out of me. And then, you know, the sound of the record. You know, I used all his equipment. I used his guitars, his amps. You could hear that in it, and I think it's a good balance of kind of what I do with a little bit of the aesthetic that he brings. And he also helped very much with stripping everything down, keeping things simple. There's so many different approaches you can take, and for me, just as an artist, it's always reflected on, you know, kind of the headspace I'm in at the time. I'm usually doing something in reaction to what I did before, so if I do a really soft record, the next record I make will probably be a loud, sloppy record, and then I'll go back the other way. It's just kind of the way I just kind of do stuff that I'm in the mood to do. The Breakup album, it's one of my favorite records that I've ever recorded. We had a producer named Sonny Levine who has a lot of really interesting ideas, and I thought he made a very interesting sounding record. We had Scarlett in for like 2 afternoons where she sang her vocals, and that was it. So we didn't work too much, you know, on it, and just a fun record. And I like the way it's been aging. I like the way it sounds. You know, even I think we did it in 2007, the beginning of 2007, and it still sounds pretty good. So, more than anything, I think lyrically, you could always explore, you know, new ways to say things. And sometimes when you think, you know, you've said it all or you don't have anything left to say, you'll be surprised. You surprise yourself if you keep digging around and you find new ways to approach things and new ways to say things and new ways to present things. And that's one of my favorite things about music and life in general, you know. I grew up in New Jersey and I was a drummer first, and at first I wanted to just play metal music. I was really into Iron Maiden and Judas Priest, stuff like that. And then when I turned like 12, 13, I started to learn how to play guitar. And at that time I was really into bands like The Smiths and The Cure and REM. I wanted to play guitar like I would hear in those bands, and that's the music that actually made me want to start writing songs. And so I started writing about the time I was 13, 14. But now it's so diverse, you know. Sometimes, you know, a lot of inspiration for me comes from not only other people's music, but just kind of like movies or conversations I hear, or weird dreams that I have. So I kind of put it all together. I never really know where it's going to come from. But, you know, sometimes I'll go in and I'll be like, oh, I want this song to sound a certain way, and then I'll stumble upon something else and it'll sound a way that I love even more that I didn't anticipate. So that's usually the best, when you don't plan for it too much. "10 years since my first record came out, yeah, I'm happy to still be in the game. You know, I'm happy to still be able to make music and go on tour and you know, introduce people to what I do. It's definitely great to be back in Italy. It's been way too long since I've played here. Probably not since 2001 or 2003, something like that. Yeah, I just feel really fortunate to be able to make music, and you know, I want to keep on doing that. So.